Olivia Newton-John, you know the actress Olivia Newton-John. She died a little while ago, and her family has been describing paranormal experiences of seeing her after her death. And I bring up this story because a lot of people have these kinds of stories. They'll say, oh, my mother died, and, you know, I saw something out of the glint of my eye, and I saw this odd little sign, and I knew that birdie was my mother, or I knew that weird image that I saw, that was my mother, or I felt my mother around me. And that's what they're describing. They're saying, 2 weeks after she passed, my phone accidentally took a picture of my dog. And there, floating by his head, was a little blue orb, the same color as this. And this is Olivia Newton-John's daughter saying this. Mom and I had talked years back. We'd watch these paranormal shows, and I'd say, you got to show up for me. And she was like, I'll show up as one of those orb things. Now, what do you know? The phone goes off, and look, there's a little orb. See, that's mommy. I don't mean to drag anybody for grieving. Grief is a very hard thing to do. A lot of people think this is harmless, this kind of fantasy. A lot of people think it's comforting. Oh, who cares? I don't think the orb is Olivia Newton-John. And a lot of people say, oh, it's comforting to think that maybe, you know, your mother's there. I don't think it is comforting. And as our culture has lost religion, we've become much more superstitious. You see this in a lot of the most prominent ideologies these days, some of which I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube, but you know which ones I'm talking about. A lot of bizarre superstitions that we're engaging in today about the nature of the soul, all sorts of weird stuff, new agey kind of stuff. It's not comforting, though. What is comforting is systematic theology. It is. I know it doesn't sound comforting. It sounds kind of cold and clinical, but it is. I know a lot of people want to say, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I don't believe in organized religion. I don't believe in dogmas. I don't believe in all that rigidity. That's all man-made. I believe in spirit, man, you know. Spirituality is not comforting. Religion can be comforting. It is comforting in that it gives you strength. Sometimes it's a little disruptive of what you're doing if they tell you, if your religion tells you you're on the wrong track. That can be distressing, but it'll get you back on the right track. But the reason that the orb stuff, the new agey spirituality is not comforting is because it raises more questions than it answers. If my mother is a little blue orb, what the hell does that mean about the soul? What does that mean? What happens after we die? We all just float around as little orbs? Is she conscious? Is she in heaven? Is she in hell? Is she in another dimension? Or I guess she's in this dimension. Are there just ghosts everywhere? Is there God? Is there justice? What does that mean? I have a view of what happens, which is that when you die, you go to heaven or hell, and you might need a period of expurgation, you know, if you're not in a perfect state to enter into heaven. But that's it. That's what happens. And then there will be a final judgment and a resurrection of the dead and a new heaven and a new earth. That's what I believe. That's the Christian view. That's what Christians believe. We say this kind of thing in the creed. I believe there's a cloud of witnesses of saints. I believe this is expressed in the book of the Apocalypse, where the saints are praying for us. They've got little baskets, which has incense coming out of it, which you see reflected in the Mass, and that the incense in the buckets, it's the prayers of the saints, that they're praying for us and that God loves us and wants us to be with Him. And I believe all that. So when there are little coincidences, you know, if you're grieving and you see a little birdie fly out the window, or you see a little orb and you look at that, I don't think that's my mother. I don't think that's my dearly departed person. But I do think, well, there's a providential order to the universe. Things make sense. There is ultimately justice. And that is comforting. But it's comforting because the rigor of logic has been applied to spiritual intuitions. That is what theology is. Theology is faith-seeking understanding. Spirituality is just BS that you try, superstitious nonsense that you try to tell yourself to comfort yourself. But as C.S. Lewis points out, if you look for truth, you might find comfort in the end. If you look for comfort, you'll find neither truth nor comfort, only soft soap and wishful thinking to begin, and in the end, despair. Right now, go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. With everything going on in the world right now, you could really use a good night's sleep. That is why you need to check out Helix Mattress. Helix has harnessed years of extensive mattress expertise to bring their customers a truly elevated sleep experience. They just launched their new Helix Elite. The Helix Elite collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. I've had my Helix for years now. I love it. Night after night, I sleep like a sweet baby, and I want you to do the same. Helix has a sleep quiz that matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress. Because why would you buy a mattress that was made for someone else? Get out of my mattress. I'm a married man. Go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz. Find the perfect mattress for your body and sleep type. Their flexible payment plans make it so that a great night's sleep is never far away. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Hurry over to helixsleep.com/Knowles. With Helix, better sleep starts right now. Right now, go to hillsdale.edu/Knowles. Are you a few years or maybe decades out of school and wondering, what the heck did I even learn and what was the point? You might think to yourself that you don't have the time to learn something new. Well, if that's you, then know that you're not alone and it's not too late. Since 1844, Hillsdale College has been providing education in faith, freedom, and character. They've taken some of the core classes they teach on campus, made them available for free online to anyone who wants to learn. That's right, for free. There are 39 free courses to choose from, ranging from the U.S. Constitution, the Book of Genesis, to free market economics. They're easy to follow and they're self-paced, so you can start whenever you want. In fact, you can start right now. It's everything you need all in one place with no long-term commitment. Let Hillsdale College be your guide. Learn when and where you want. Hillsdale is absolutely terrific, loved visiting, and you can bring that right now to your home through your computer and through your phone. Go to hillsdale.edu/Knowles to enroll. No cost. It's easy to get started. hillsdale.edu/Knowles to register. hillsdale.edu/Knowles. Dianne Feinstein has been hospitalized. She is the Democrat senator. She's quite aged. She's a woman of a certain age. She is 90, I think, now. She had shingles earlier this year, all sorts of health problems that came from that. She's in a wheelchair. She seems to have some cognitive issues. She had a fall. She was briefly hospitalized. She then returned home. And people are calling on her to step down. Democrats are calling on her to step down. And oddly enough, Republicans seem even more focused on making her step down. And I just don't see why. I don't see a single good reason why we should call on Dianne Feinstein to step down. I see why Democrats want her to step down. They want her to step down because there's a Democrat governor in California and he can appoint some very young, robust, far leftist senator to replace Dianne Feinstein, who by the standards of the Democratic Party is relatively moderate today. I get why they want her to. Why do we want her to? Because she's old. We don't need all these old people anymore. Come on, it's embarrassing how old she is. Let's go, get her out of here. That's it. That is the degree of strategic and tactical sophistication on the right, I'm sorry to say, for a lot of the establishment Republicans. What good is done by replacing her right now? Nothing. What bad is done? You get a younger, more energetic, more radical senator who's doing more stuff. So why would we do that? Well, because just don't you think we shouldn't have old people? First of all, the Senate comes from the word senex, which means old man. So I don't have a problem with old people. Maybe she's a little over the hill and should retire. But, okay, we've got to cut it. We conservatives need to cut it with the rosy, idealistic nonsense about politics and start seeing power a little more clearly. I'm not saying we behave in a way that's immoral or a way that's unjust. I would never encourage that. But we need to stop engaging in politics as though we're living in 1952 and nothing has changed. And we're all just dealing in good faith. And the Democrats aren't prosecuting the political opposition leader in the country. No, they would never do such a thing. Come on, let's just all come together. We basically agree in the end, don't we? No, we don't, man. They're trying to imprison the former president, the leader of the opposition. They're spying on Catholics. They're lying about spying on Catholics just for going to mass. They're calling parents domestic terrorists. They're trying to imprison pro-life advocates for protesting infanticide. They're giving awards to the infanticidal maniacs, and they're trying to throw the pro-life advocates in prison for 10 years, 11 years. We're not in 1952 anymore, guys. The procedural norms are gone. The only people who are playing by the old procedural norms are the conservatives. And we're going to be playing by them all the way to the gulags. No reason. I'm endorsing Dianne Feinstein for 3 more terms. So glad you liked that clip. And it was good. But you got to subscribe to the Michael Knowles Show YouTube channel. Ring the bell. See you next time.